go. Time for Currie's Corner on your radio. Yeah. Tune in and turn it up. Let's have some fun.
Right? Hey, good morning. And if you're expecting Pat Currie, he's in Florida soaking up the rays. But I'd like to tell you who my guests are this morning. My guest is Carmen Bean, a township supervisor from Big Rapids Township. Joe Bayshaw, who is a township trustee, was a former county commissioner, and I think that he probably ran for House of Representatives, maybe. And just an old-timer around here that's been one guy I can always count on. If I have to put one guy to count on, it'd be Joe Bayshaw. And then my friend Albert. And Albert is coming here. We're going to talk a little bit about homeless. Albert is homeless, and he's my friend. He's my friend. So, and then I have Bob Aldridge. Bob is in here because we're going to all get involved here today. And then Jen, the owner of the station. And you know something? Bob Aldridge is kind of underappreciated by maybe Pat and I sometimes. But he is kind of really a fantastic guy.
He really is.
And does a great guy. And then I want to talk a little bit about Jen. Jen owns the station. She's the one that makes this thing go and sells the advertising. And, you know, if you ever need a business management consultant or anything like that, buy advertising. She can pick your business up, ladies and gentlemen, tenfold, I think. Maybe not tenfold, but she can pick it up a lot. So maybe you want to call Jen at her number at the B1039 and make sure you chit-chat with Jen to find out what's going on. So let me tell you, I want to talk about Carmen Bean just a minute. Carmen has been a friend of mine. He was general manager of Federal Screw for many, many years, and he's just a super guy. We thought he was going to leave here at 9 o'clock, but he's going to tell us some stories and what's going on in the township and what we should look forward to and how we're going to progress and regress and digress and igress. So I want to turn it over a little bit for Carmen. And look, if anybody's got questions for Carmen, JoJo, you're a trustee. If you got some questions for Joe or for Carmen, make sure you let them know. And Carmen, it's yours right now.
Okay, thank you, Pete. At the township level, initially, thank you for inviting me today. At the Big Rapids Charter Township, we're currently working on a number of items, one being enhancements to fire and rescue protection. Those services are very important to the citizens. We have a meeting come up. Actually, I have a meeting coming up with a fire department roster tomorrow evening. To get their feelings on things, to just see how it's working down there, how we can do things better, what improvements can be made. And once that's completed, we're going to have a public forum, hopefully one evening next week. If not, at the latest, it'll be the following week where we invite the citizens of the community in to tell us what they expect, what they like, and what they dislike about our services. So we're hoping that we can make some improvements after the completion of those two items, really listen to what the citizens have to say and act on it. Additionally, we're looking at, we've talked a lot over the years about extending the sewer across the highway, across the expressway to that corridor on the west side of the expressway out in Perry and Waldron Way in that area. That's something we're going to start investigating and talking about. Obviously, it's a very costly endeavor, but hopefully we can get
a lot of money from somebody. And perhaps we can get the county and the city to go in with us and help support that effort. We think it would help the entire community. We've had a lot of inquiries I have regarding those properties. The largest impediment is the lack of infrastructure out there. I had a 252 unit public housing apartments contact me a couple of weeks ago. They were very interested, but we just simply didn't have the infrastructure to support them. So there's a lot of opportunity there. Oh, wow. So what are your plans? I heard a little birdie say you might have some plans for the future. Anything you can announce on the radio?
I knew that was going to come up, Pete. Yes, I've decided to throw my hat in the ring, if you will, to run for the 7th District County Commissioner. That district covers the entire township and just a very small portion of the city. I believe when I looked at it, there were 3,100 registered voters in that district from the township and just over 1,000 for the city. So basically, that district covers mostly the township, and we need that representation in the township. Yeah. Currently the representative, Mr. Rowley, who's done a wonderful job, he's been there, I believe, 22 years this year.
Wow, I can remember when he first started to run.
Definitely.
Liz Olson's seat.
Yeah, and I'm not taking any shots at Bill, but what I have found is as you become more and more comfortable with your position, you become an administrator, not a leader.
Yeah.
And we really need to take a more active role as commissioners, and I hope to do that. I would commit to only one term, and I think that sometimes we stay in our positions far too long.
I think you do a great job, Carmen, and I'm pushing for you, my friend, very hard.
I appreciate
I think
that.
you do a fantastic job. Joey, what have you got to say? You're writing some stuff down there. I know you want to do a little talking. Don't clutch up on me now, pal. What do you got to say this morning?
You don't have to worry about that with Joe.
Oh, yeah.
Well, sometimes I get started on stories, I get taken off on different tangents. So I don't really usually have short stories, although I...
Give us a shorter version, JoJo.
That's easier said than done. But anyway, yeah, I got to see Carmen running for county commissioner, and I am going to run for township again. I was appointed.
Good.
So anyway, a lot of work, like Carmen was saying, needs still to be done, as always, and continue to grow and do things and make things better for the township, our constituents. So anyway, pretty excited for Ferris basketball. I can change the subject a little bit, I guess.
Sure.
I'll be driving the men down to Indianapolis. And the crazy thing is, I know I drove up north to Marquette this weekend. We won, so we made the NCAA tournament, as the ladies did also. Ladies will be going to Allendale, and they'll be playing Lewis, I believe. But I know, I listened to Andy Brockman, driving back, and he goes, I hope we just play somebody that's not in our conference. And guess what? We're playing Northern.
We'll be okay, won't we?
Well, we should be, sure. We can beat anybody on the right day, and we just got to start.
Joe, if I could ask, where are they playing? Did you say Indy? I thought it was in Evanston.
Oh, it might be. I was told. I don't have my itinerary yet, so...
so everybody don't go to Indianapolis. Joe said go to the stadium down there because...
I'll have to see. I guess probably it's in the Pioneer today, so...
I need to verify that because I'm going to cut out early Friday and go watch the ladies, and then I'm going directly there to spend the night.
Oh, okay.
Wherever the men are playing.
Yeah, wherever they're playing. I guess I'll just look at my GPS when they give me the address, so... Anyway, it should be good games. The men, for example, in Northern Marquette, we were behind 10 points both games, and we come back and we won by 10 or 11 points. So it was, we just got to start tougher the first half, I guess.
Hey, Joe, I'm not going to interrupt you, but I want to say we're on B1039. We're number one in the 80s and more. And we're out of Big Rapids, and we do a heck of a job here. So if you like the good music, you listen to Bob Aldridge. He'll do a great job. We got some guys I want to say hi to. I want to say hi to the FedEx guys. They always listen to us coming down from Cadillac. I want to say hi to my buddy Dave Baker, the mayor of the Big Rapids, is Fred. And I want to say hi to Jeannie Fribley. Jeannie, gosh darn it, well, I won't get into that, but I love her to death. Jeannie is fantastic, and then Ben, I think Walmuth is fantastic. Mark Bellman, Josh, Seth, my man Spud. Spud was supposed to be on the show this morning, too, and Kim, and also Jack Frizzell. So these are some of the guys that we have coffee with every morning. But I want to also say hi to Big Rapids Pennzoil and Auto Repair, but they do more than anything. They do tires, they do mechanical work. They take care of me pretty well, and I just got tires from myself. The Seth Winger Agency, Seth Winger, they're on Perry Street in Big Rapids, and they're also in Baldwin at the old Lake Osceola Bank. We have 911 Restoration. 911, I'm sorry, Jen just corrected me, 911. I haven't been on the show for a while, ladies and gentlemen. I've been a little sick had a knee replacement, and I had a board meeting last night that lasted until about 10 o'clock. Longest board meeting Big Rapids ever had in the history.
Now, what board's that, Pete?
Big Rapids School Board.
Oh.
And we got there at 5. I got there at 10 minutes to 5 and got home at 5 after 10. So we had a big bad one. But I want to tell you about 911 Restoration. They do any kind of damage that you need to have done, water damage, smoke damage. And Joe's out there, but Jeff, my buddy, is also one of the technicians. So maybe you want to go out and see these guys. Gilbert's Carpets, Gilbert, if you want to see George and Tom, I want to tell you something. They put my carpet down 37 years ago, and they're really good guys. So you want to make sure if you need the carpet, any kind of carpeting, tile, go out and see the brothers. Benton Baker, Big Rapids, Mike Manali and his team. Blaine Adams is out there, and he's getting married here pretty quick. He has Stonehouse Vineyards, and they're getting married, he and his girlfriend, and very quickly. And then DW2 Drywall, Dale Whaley. You want to make sure you go out and see Dale if you need any kind of drywall done. He does a great job. And tell him Pete sent you, you'll get a big discount. And I also want to talk about Curry's Corners. I got there late this morning. I was supposed to be there, meet these guys at 5 to 8 o'clock. I got out of my bed at 3 to 8. My wife said, get up. I was not feeling well. I didn't go to bed till 4 o'clock. But I didn't want to let Jen down. Pat's in Florida. And after this show, I probably should have been in Florida myself. But, these are some of the people that are friendly, and we have coffee every morning, and Joe is one of them. He's one of the Curry's rats that has, breakfast and stuff in the morning. But, I go down to Curry's, and I have a little breakfast action every morning, a couple of eggs and toast, and wow, it's good. But Bob, as usual, got a couple of donuts for us this morning. They're a little bit different than what I had. I usually have apple fritters, but that kind of is different-looking apple fritter. Bob, what is that?
That's an apple fritter.
Boy, where did you get that?
At Jack's Italian Bakery.
That kind of looks a little bit different, but I'm going to taste it in a minute, and it looks pretty dadgum good. But what I want to talk to now is I think, a very important problem we have in Big Rapids. We have, I think, you said 209?
About 209 homeless.
About 209 homeless.
In Big Rapids.
And Albert is going to talk a little bit about the homeless and what we can do for it and how it's good, bad, or indifferent. I know Jen's going to want some questions asked. She's going to ask some. And, the rest of you can. But tell us what you think is good, bad, and ugly about the homeless and what we can do to make it better and how we can make it better. Talk into the microphone.
Hi, my name is Albert Robinson. I'm originally from New York City, but I've been here for about 30 years. I just became homeless in 2018, and they trying to help me. It's doing a good thing. I appreciate Big Rapids. I've been here for a while. They helped me out a lot. Just right now, I'm down on my luck, but they helped me pick myself up here. We have a lot of homeless people here in Big Rapids that really need some help. I just don't understand why the college is building houses for college kids and not trying to help the homeless. And I think that's the problem here in Big Rapids. We got help, but it's just not quick enough like it's supposed to be. I understand it's hard to get a place to live here because this is a college town, but they also got to understand homeless people need a place to live also. And it's not bad. It's, homeless people ain't that bad people. Just that they down on their luck. And a lot of people look at them like they shouldn't need to be helped. And it's not fair that people look down on homeless people when it's not, it's not really their fault half the time.
Well, Albert is 62 years old, and he has got a bad back. He just really can't do a lot of hard labor. Probably can't lift anything more than 5 or 10 pounds, but he's one of the good guys. I've never seen Albert not being clean. Clean pants, clean shirt, clean overalls. And I'm not going to tell you where he lives, but it's outside, covered up with some boxes and some quilts and stuff. And I know that it's very cold out at times, and he can't, I think, get in the shelter because the shelter is maybe full.
The shelter's full, and I'm on a waiting list to get a place to live. So I'm just praying every morning that I get up and I go down to Currie's and have coffee with the fellas here. They accept me. They accept me in their little circle. I appreciate it. And we just sit down there and we have coffee, and they ask me questions about homeless, and I tell them the best that I can. And they really look out for me down there at Currie's. I mean, there's some really nice guys down there, and they really.
Who's the best guy you like down there?
The whole crew.
But don't you have a favorite, Albert?
Yeah, and that's my man Pete here.
I wasn't pushing for that.
My man Pete
but
here.
we have 209 people, and let me tell you something. You see them walking around town. I'll take Albert anywhere, and I'll lay money in front of anywhere in my seat or car or whatever, and it'll still be there. Albert is one trustworthy young man. At 62, he's a nice-looking man, and he's kind of got a girlfriend. I should maybe mention that. But, he's kind of one of the lucky homeless. And it's Carmen, have you got anything you'd like to say being a trustee?
Yeah, I think that it would be beneficial for those of us in elected positions to know what services you would like to see. I know that, obviously a home is one of them. It's probably the major one. What other types of services would help you? I just need service to make sure I'm well set with a home over my head, a roof over my head, and once I get settled, I can help other people like me to try to get into places. Because I want to be a spokesperson for the homeless.
You want to be somewhere where it's warm in the winter, cool in the summer, and you're not going to be freezing outside there, really heat stroke time.
But I want to be a spokesperson for the homeless and try to get a lot of people some help.
Well, you could be. You could be.
It's not fair. It's not fair. I mean, we got homes for the women, but nothing for the homeless. And the shelter is too small for a lot of them. And a lot of them just don't understand that they don't know what to do. They're scared.
Albert, how do you say over 200? Why did you come to Big Rapids? And why it's my understanding that probably 35 to 40% are only from Big Rapids of the 200. Why do they come to Big Rapids, I guess?
I really can't answer that question. I guess they just like making left turns. And everybody make a left turn and end up in Big Rapids. And
why did you come here?
Oh, I was a carny. I used to work for the carnival. And they came here. I met a woman in Reed City, and it didn't work out. And then I walked here to Big Rapids, and this is why I've been for the past 30 years. Been married for 25 years, divorced for 3 years, got 4 kids, and a girlfriend. I got a girlfriend now, but I'm blessed. God let me wake up every morning, and I get to see what Big Rapids look like every day.
So, quick question, and I'm just asking for purely on the business side of it. What's your background? What have you done in the past? What kind of work? I was a cook. I've been a cook for 20 years. I'm in engineering. I've been in engineering for 4 years, and that's about the 2 things I do. I like to cook. There are a ton of restaurants around town. I understand, but I can't work no more. I broke my back. I can't stand. But if you found a cooking position to where you could sit on a stool? No. No? No, my doctor told me I can't work, period. Okay. So I am totally retired at 22.
At 62.
At 62.
Boy, you don't look. You look younger than 62, but not 20. You don't look 22.
But yeah, my doctors told me I can't work no more. So all I do is walk around and pick up cans to try to make myself happy, and I stay happy every day. If you were able to find a job that you could do, would you do it? Yeah. But my doctors told me no, so I got to go with my doctors.
Well, you could do a job where you could sit down and maybe shuffle paperwork and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, but I also got SSI, and I don't want to mess that up.
Yeah. You know, I want to tell you, if you see Albert, he's got a backpack on his back. He's African-American. That has nothing to do with it, but I want to tell you something. If you stop and see Albert walking around town, say hi, Albert, because you won't find a nicer guy. Chit-chat with Albert. See what you can do. I love the guy personally, and I'd be proud to be with him anywhere, but that's just me. Okay, hey, I want to talk a little bit about me just a little second. I had the longest board meeting in history of Big Rapids High School last night. We started we started our session. We got our dinner at 5 o'clock. 5:30 when we went into our work session. We got over at 10 o'clock. We had 4 closed sessions last night, which is the most I've ever had in the last 17, 18 years. So I was really tired last night, and my leg was hurting, and I said at 3 minutes till 8, my wife said, what time are you supposed to get up? And I said, God, I didn't want to let Jen down because I told her I'd be here. And in fact, I saw her husband out for dinner Friday night, and he was, I think he was talking business to a guy. I don't know if it was advertising or whatever, but Jen and Dom Theodore, they always are working. They're doing something. They're very good in the, I'm not going to say the Democrat, no, it's the Republican Party. They're very, very active in the Republican Party. And I want to tell you, they are a power couple, nice couple. And Jen, why don't you talk a little bit about you?
No, let's not. Let's talk about what Currie's Corner is all about. Community things. Let's talk about the community.
Okay, we can talk.
Let's talk
Joe
about...
and Carmen, we can all talk about the community. We always meet at the community. We learn more stuff and junk. Just like the golf course has been sold out there. I found out it's a $3 million rig. It's now, I think they got $2 million and something for it and change. But, there's a lot of stuff that goes on at Currie's, a lot of gossip, and the gossip becomes true fact. But we have the superintendent of schools comes in there once a month. We have a lot of people come in once a month. We have Carmen. We have Dave Hamlin. We have just a lot of guys that come in. Carmen's almost a regular now. He almost comes in every morning. Let me tell you, what do you want to talk about the community? What do you think about our community?
I think it's a great community. It's a wonderful place.
Why?
Well, the services, the rural nature of it, the friendliness of most of the people. Well, recently it's been a little difficult, but if you stay off of social media, you're fine. I do understand that there are some plans to expand our Brother's Keeper.
Yeah,
I think they purchased some land over on that corridor.
Yes, they purchased some land, but it's taken a long time for them to get everything set and paperwork rolling. And they got to find crews and people who's willing to work because they don't have a lot of people at the shelter that want to stay there and work. They're like part-time, then they take off and don't come back. But they're looking for people that's Jersey because the shelter's good. There's nothing wrong with the shelter. It's just that
can't hold enough people. Can't hold
enough people, and people don't want to leave, and that's not fair.
Albert, really quick. You want more services. I understand that. You want a roof over your head. I know of a place in Grand Rapids that has that. Why wouldn't you just get on a bus and go there where there's more services?
Because I live here, and I have family here, and I wish not to leave until it's my time. I appreciate Big Rapids, even though it's hard, but yeah, I got family here, and I just wish not to travel no more.
Does your family support you?
No.
So you're staying here for a family that doesn't support you?
Yeah, yep. And my girlfriend, she supports me, and we just saving up money and trying to find a place. And I just want to stay here around my kids and around my grandkids, and that's about it. But other than that, that's the only thing that's holding me here.
Okay.
Are the other 200, Albert, do they have stories similar to yours? I'm a lifelong resident, about 3 generations. And it's hard for people like me to understand, I guess. When I watch Pete, like you say, he gets up, knee operations, hip, whatever. But he keeps pushing, and I just don't. I guess I don't get it. How 200 and some folks, end up in Big Rapids, homeless.
Oh, they come from other places. Grand Rapids, Traverse City, Cadillac.
That's my point. Why?
And everybody ended up here in Big Rapids, and I don't understand why everybody ends up in Big Rapids.
Yeah. I know we are a good community, like Carmen says. We're a caring community. It's just, the shelter and homelessness has got to a point that a lot of us are just wondering why.
Yeah.
I mean,
I asked myself
so
the same
far,
question.
You haven't answered my question. Why? I guess
I have no.
You've answered it for you, but not 208 folks.
Yeah, well,
209.
Well, I can't answer for them, but it just, some of them don't want to do nothing.
Correct.
You know, homeless people just rather be taken care, homeless, and don't want to, you know, move up in their life.
Are drugs? Does drugs?
Drugs got a lot to do with drugs and drinking.
Yeah, because I was in business. I mean, we'd have a few maybe or whatever. I would try to hire, you know, the signs up. Well, they really didn't want to work. And so I hope you understand how some of us are trying to figure it out. And sometimes I wonder if giving more creates a bigger problem.
It could be. It could be because a lot of them want it right now. And it's not fair to the people that's waiting to get help, you know?
Yeah.
And the shelters, they help you. They help you get a place, help you look for work, but the people in the shelter wish not to do anything.
So do you think there should be a subclass, like the people who want help and the people who don't want help? And if the people that don't want help are in the shelter, they really should be kicked out?
Yes. They should.
That aren't trying.
Ain't trying because they're hurting the people that's trying. And it's not fair to people that are trying like me. Okay? I'm trying. I'm doing everything I can. And they push me to the side and go with somebody else that they think they can help them quicker. And that person to sit there and look totally stunned and don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sitting there going, okay, I did everything you asked me to do. Why am I in the back of the bus again?
I know years ago my daughter was, taking social science classes, social work classes at Ferris, and I think they got extra credit for volunteering working there, and it got to the point she was afraid to be there.
Because of the homeless.
Because of some of the actions of the homeless.
Yes.
I got a rental in town, for example. There were quite a few, actually, but the one over that area, folks keep knocking on the door of both the up and downstairs, and they're not asking for anything, and my renters are trying to figure out why do they people keep...
Squatters, maybe they want to be a squatter.
That could be it.
They're wondering. I think they're afraid.
Yeah.
They're afraid because most of them are single male that are the only ones that have knocked on the door. Oh, I thought somebody lived here. Well, the same person. Luckily, the lady's husband has been home every time, and I told her just don't answer the door.
Yeah.
And call the police.
Well, Albert, let me ask you a question. You said drugs was involved. I want to know where they're getting the money for these drugs, where they're getting the money for these pay phones or these flip-flop phones or
cell
doing
phones. Everything in their power to get what they think they need.
Yeah.
But
how are they doing it?
Selling stuff, selling their bodies, stealing stuff from people's yard. Just go in the garbage and just steal stuff and just go to the pawn shop, and the pawn people they just take it just to keep them.
Well, they closed up the pawn shop over on the east side.
Because they kept homeless people kept going in there with stolen stuff, and the cops got tired of it.
Yeah,
and the cops told them either you shut it down, or else everybody in there is getting arrested.
But I got Carmen Bean. Carmen Bean is township supervisor. And I want to tell you something, just a little bit about Carmen. He's a true friend. He's one of my friends. And if I call him and say, Carmen, I need this or I need that or I need this, and it's all above board, he's right there for me. He's always there to help. And I have another guy that, I just have trusted for 50 years or better. I met him when he was kind of a little snot-nosed kid, maybe 60 years. A little runt. He was actually a little runt, but his name's Joe Bayshaw. He's poured maybe more cement in town than, maybe Craig Blakely and him, but he poured my house 37 years ago, and it's still standing, so he's done a great job on this. And then I have Albert. Albert is homeless, and he is going to not get grilled, but Jen is going to have some hard questions for Albert, tough questions, and also Carmen's going to have some tough questions. And Joe Bayshaw is going to have some tough questions. I've already asked him the tough questions, and I've known Albert for a long time. And he's been in my car. I take him where he's got to go, and he's just one of my dear friends. And if he needed something, I would always be there for him to help him out. But I've never seen him not clean shaven. Well, he's a little bit raggedy this morning, but he looks good. Okay, Jen, I think you want to take the first question.
Well, it all starts with having purpose, right? Everybody's got to have purpose.
True.
Okay. One of the things that I would like to touch on is, Carmen, you work for Federal Screw.
Yes, I did.
You did?
Yes.
General manager.
Okay. There were positions available for people who had no experience whatsoever in manufacturing to this day, correct?
Yes. I left 3 years ago, but I've remained very in touch with manufacturing throughout the state of Michigan. I do audits for manufacturing companies. I audit their management systems and their quality systems. And one of the main things I need to do is assist them in analyzing their risks and what they need to do to mitigate those risks. 8 out of the 10 places I currently go to, their number one risk is employee turnover, employee recruitment, and employee retention. So 8 out of 10 currently are having those difficulties. And there are, most of them are on entry-level jobs.
Well, that's true for most manufacturers. It doesn't matter if it's Federal Screw or anybody.
Yeah, exactly. That's throughout the entire industry. I mean, I do a lot of work in the entire Midwest. And everywhere I go, there's a problem with
keeping people engaged.
Keeping people engaged. You have a lot of instances where they'll use temp services. And the folks typically, some are reliable, but for the most part, they'll be to work day one and day two, and then you don't see them for a week. And, when you're trying to support an automotive assembly plant,
you need that reliability.
Yeah, you can't just call them and say, oh, no, those parts aren't coming in until next week.
And so that turns back to Albert, saying, Albert, if there's a person, and you said you've decided that you're going to stay on SSI, doctor says, don't work, you've decided you're going to take that SSI money that is paid through our taxes, that people who work, and you're going to take that instead. However, there's got to be some homeless who say, I want a possibility of moving up in my life, having purpose and getting a job and so on and so forth, who could go to Federal Screw or other manufacturers in the area and get a job that doesn't require experience. Is there someone in your group that could do that?
A lot of them can, but they wish not to.
Why?
Because I look at they don't want to work anymore. I figured they worked when they did, and then they figured they'll just stay homeless and live off of other people instead of trying to pick themselves up again. There's a lot of them down there that just don't want to pick themselves up anymore. They just rather just stay down and don't want the help. And when they do get the help, they, like this gentleman says, they go to work for a couple of days, then they disappear. Then when you do see them again, they're like, well, it wasn't for me. You didn't give it a chance.
Or is it they just realize life is hard?
Yes.
Work is hard.
Yeah, and some of them can't handle that because they've never been in that position before, because they've been taken care of all their life. They just figure, well, I don't need no help. I can do this on my own. But they don't realize they're going down. So
in that same vein, you're saying you want more services. They probably want more services, but it doesn't seem that it would be fair for us who are working, who are paying into SSI,
True.
that we give you more services. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. That makes sense. I understand what you're saying. I'm not going to help you if you don't want the help. I mean, I'm wasting my time trying to help you, and you're not helping yourself when I can try to help somebody else that really needs it. And it's not fair. I mean, the homeless, they just don't understand.
They have to take an initiative to make themselves better.
And they don't want to do that, and that's the problem. Nobody pushes them. And when they do get pushed, they take it offensive, and it's not, they don't get it. They don't know how to accept honesty, criticism, and respect. Because they've been in the streets so long, they just gave up on themselves, and it's not fair. They need somebody to say, listen, you can do this. All right? You can do this. Just hold your head up. You got this far.
is there something that maybe, and I'm looking at Carmen right now, I'm looking at Joe, is there something in government that would encourage or bonus people that stay on a job, that prove themselves, that would encourage them to step up? And is it necessarily money, Albert? Is it money that makes people better? Is it purpose? What do you think would encourage them?
It's purpose. Everybody says money. No, it's purpose.
You got to feel good about
yourself.
yourself.
You got to feel good about yourself. You got to realize, okay, God let me see another day. Let me make it better. And if I can make it better for me, I can make it better for somebody else. Okay? Because you have to realize you are the future. Okay? And our kids looking up to us. Homeless, not homeless, they're looking up to us. And it's not fair that we're not helping them. Okay? And the homeless people, they got children. Look at your children. Don't look at you. Look what you're doing to your children. Okay? You want your child to be like you 20 years later, looking at you go, Mom, Dad, what happened? And you can't tell them that because you don't want to move on in life. And that's hurting the child, and it's not fair. And they don't need to be homeless.
Do you guys have those conversations when you're on the streets?
I try to have conversations, but they don't want to listen. Because they feel that I'm putting them down. I'm not putting you down because a lot of them never been talked to before.
Right.
Okay? They've been yelled at half their life. They've been put down half their life. You know? And when you do talk to them, they look at you like, I know what you're saying. So you got to explain it to them piece by piece and break it down to them to make them understand. And I did that to a couple of people, and I made them cry. And they're like, Albert, how can you live like this? It's not my fault. I messed up, but I'm making myself up. And y'all can do the same thing. And a lot of them like, I can't do this. Yeah, you can. If you wake up every morning and you see the sunlight and you're homeless, you can move on in your life. Don't say, I can't do this. Nobody's holding you down. It's help out here. You just got to go get it.
Hey, Albert, there's a lot of homeless in Big Rapids High School. We have quite a few homeless, but we have one guy, I'll tell you, his first name starts with a D. I'm not going to tell you who it is. But Pat and I have kind of taken him under our wing a couple of years ago, or maybe a year ago. We've taken him to Salvation Army. We put him up in the hotel. We've given him money. We want to give him a shave, a haircut. And the guy's schizophrenia, whatever. He just goes on a rant and rave and just starts yelling at me and Pat. And comes into Currie's maybe once a week and sells bottles. He picks the bottles up in the trash can. But we tried to help him. I was just ready, all set with Dan at Big Rapids Barbershop, Brown's, to have him get a haircut. And a shave. I was taking him down to Salvation Army to buy him more clothes. I've already taken him. And then put him up in the hotel, get him a shower, and stay all night. He started yelling and screaming at me. And he started yelling and screaming at Pete. So, we want to try to help the guy. And we got him a job, and he stayed on the job a day or two and quit. We got him 3 jobs, and he walked off the jobs.
He's the person I know you're talking about.
Yeah,
I talked to him, but he didn't want no help.
You're right.
He don't want to take his medication, and he just rather live on the street when everybody's trying to help him. And he feel people coming at him because he never had that kind of help before. So right now he's going to be defensive for the rest of his life, and that's the way he was, and he's not going to change. So the more you try to help him, the more he's going to push you away. So all I can say is just try to talk to him and just try to be his friend. And if he yelled, just let him yell, because that's what he does, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's in his brain.
Well, the difference between you and him, Albert, he asks for money. You ask for nothing. You ask for nothing. Sometimes people give you something.
Yeah.
But you never ask for anything, and that's the difference with you. And you're always clean. I mean, really, you get your clothes clean, your face is clean.
Well, I have, even though I'm homeless, I got to stay clean because walking around smelling, people don't want to be around you. And I've been through that before. Yeah. I lived in Florida and I was a bum.
Yeah.
And I cleaned myself up.
If I could, Albert, from the 209 people, if you were to estimate, how many of those 209 people would take the help and pursue improvement in their life, pursue a better life? There's an awful lot of living in every 24 hours.
Yeah, it's a lot of them that want help, and I believe they can get the help. They just don't want to push. You know, they need that push, and the more you push them, they back off. Like, no, I don't want to be, but they scared.
Would it be half of them? Would it
half of them?
Half of them would probably pursue something.
Pursue something. You know, like one of my friends, like I said, he was in a shelter. They gave him a place, and a week later, he went and got him a part-time job. You know, and there's a couple of people I know that was in the shelter and got places and making it work. And you got people that just wish not to do anything, and it's a shame. You know, I'm willing to help all these all these homeless people, but I can't help people that don't want to help themselves.
You touched on something a little earlier where you talked about, is this what we want to teach our children? And that's devastating and heartbreaking to see, the impact on the kids. But if you're raised in that environment, we are products of our environment, and then it simply perpetuates generation after generation. What do you think we can do about that?
Honestly, we just got to work together. That's all. We just got to work together. I mean, don't keep looking down on people. You got to look up for people. I mean, because you don't want to be looked down on too in life. So it's not fair. We all Americans. We all live here. Okay? We all need to help each other. All right? I don't care what goes on in this world. We all Americans. We all need to help each other. I don't care if it's just like Pete says, take you out to dinner, take you to a movie, go get you cleaned up. I mean, just a little bit helps. And the homeless people, they take it to the point that they think they're being, how can I put this?
Put it the way you feel, Albert.
Pushed. And there's something they know they don't want to do. And that's when we can get to them, is push them. Yeah. And keep pushing them until they get to realize, okay, they really want to help me, and I got to help myself.
I know that Michigan Works has some programs in which they do, job training. They do training on how to, behave in an interview, what you should look like when you go in.
They helped me get a job at Big Rapids Products.
Okay.
When I moved here in '94, and I went to Michigan Works, and they showed me how to dress, how to talk to a person, how to fill out an application. I mean,
it's a little life coaching, if you will.
Yeah, and that's what it is, and that's what the homeless need, is they need the coaching.
What, Albert, in your opinion, how much does the prescription drugs, other drugs, whatever, what is the percentage of those folks, and I don't mean those folks, but
them,
are dependent
on drugs?
On drugs.
I say about 30% of them.
Is that all? Really?
No, it's about 30% of them.
Okay.
Hey, I know this, you can talk with Albert all day, but we got to wrap it up right now. This is B1039. We are the number one, Big Rapids, number one in 80s music, and we got to wrap this thing up. It's very exciting. We can have Albert back. We can have you guys back. There's a lot of things that can be done, but we got to wrap it up now, and I want to hear return to sender, maybe, Bobby.
Got it queued up.
I want to appreciate Albert being here.
Yeah, me too.
I think.
Yeah, thank you, Albert.
Thanks, buddy.
If you listen to guys like Albert, there's a place for him.
Oh, yeah.
He can mentor.
Oh, yeah, a lot of them. We could have a meeting at the Township Hall of a lot of the homeless if they'd come.
Mm-hmm. But see, if they come, they're going to argue, and they don't want to sit and listen. Yeah. They want to argue. They don't want to sit and listen.
Like you, Albert,
it almost
need most of the
If I could chime in for 1 second, I think that at some point tough love is necessary.
Yes.
And there's no tough love. It's all coddling.
Yep.
And at some point, and it may not be under this administration, it may be under the next administration, they're going to say, dole's over. Okay, you work or we're cutting you off. Now, I mean, would there be programs? Could there be a farm where they would have to work, not get anything?
Hey, we got to wrap it up, Bobby. My name is Pat Currie, Peter
wow,
Kent.
Listen to this, Chad.
My name is Peter Kent, and I kind of sat in for Pat this morning. Pat's a great interviewer, but let's get some music on, cut it up. I have to go to Grand Rapids.
You do?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.